The moment she stood up from the table, the room seemed to freeze around her, Christmas lights blurring into soft halos as her chest tightened with the familiar ache of disappointment. Another blind date ending the same way, another night where hope had dared to rise only to quietly collapse. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet miracles that happen when hearts stay open, take a moment right now to like this video, comment, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel, because this story begins exactly where most people would have walked away. She had learned long ago how to read a room without sound. As a deaf woman, silence was her constant companion, but it was never empty. She felt things deeply. The shift of energy, the weight of expectation, the subtle way people's smiles stiffened when they realized communication wouldn't be easy. The Christmas restaurant glowed with warmth, candles flickering against polished glass and evergreen garlands, yet she felt apart from it all. The man across from her had been kind enough, but kindness without understanding often felt like standing on opposite sides of a river, waving. She could see it in his eyes as he spoke slowly, over-enunciating, trying too hard, already tired. She rose gently, offering a polite smile, ready to retreat into the safety of her solitary December night. That was when she noticed them. Two little girls sitting at a nearby table, their matching curls catching the candlelight, their dresses bright against the dark wood. Twins, no older than 5, watching her with an intensity that felt oddly grounding. Children noticed things adults missed. As she paused, one hand resting on the back of her chair, the girls looked at each other, then back at her, and something extraordinary happened. Their small hands began to move with unmistakable clarity. Not random gestures, not play, but deliberate, careful signs formed with concentration and hope. Her breath caught. She hadn't expected it. It had been years since someone had signed to her unprompted, especially children. Their faces were serious, earnest in a way that only children could be. And as she read their message, her heart shifted. The meaning landed gently but firmly inside her, like a key turning in a lock. The twins were not asking for attention or pity. They were offering something fragile and brave. They were telling her that their father, the man seated behind them, needed her. She looked past the girls then, really looked, and saw him. A man sitting alone at a table meant for more, his shoulders slightly hunched, eyes tired but warm. He wasn't staring at his phone or scanning the room. He was watching his daughters with quiet devotion, unaware of what they were doing. The twins signed again, slower this time, as if afraid she might doubt them. In that moment, the ache she had carried into the restaurant softened. She saw not a stranger, but a story that felt strangely familiar. Loss, resilience, love stitched together with effort. She lowered herself back into her chair, not because the date demanded it, but because something inside her asked her to stay. The man finally noticed the twins' movements and turned, confusion flickering across his face before he followed their gaze to her. Recognition dawned slowly, then something like wonder. He stood halfway, unsure, clearly caught between embarrassment and gratitude. She didn't need sound to understand the emotion in his posture. Life had taught her to read hearts, not words. The night unfolded differently from how she had imagined. Communication wasn't effortless, but it was sincere. Notes were written, phones were passed back and forth, gestures filled in the gaps. She learned that his wife had died 2 years earlier, suddenly, leaving behind a silence heavier than hers had ever been. The twins had grown up with sign language because their mother had believed it mattered, because inclusion mattered. Since her passing, the girls had clung to those lessons like lifelines, believing deeply that love should always find a way to be understood. As the evening stretched on, Christmas music played somewhere unseen, vibrations faint but comforting beneath her fingertips resting on the table. She laughed silently more than once, shoulders shaking, eyes bright. It felt unfamiliar and wonderful. For once, she was not the one adapting alone. The twins beamed whenever she signed back to them, pride radiating from their small frames, as if they had orchestrated something sacred. Maybe they had. Near the end of the night, when the candles burned low and the restaurant thinned, she felt something she hadn't allowed herself to feel in a long time. Possibility. Not a promise, not a fairy tale ending, but a gentle opening. The man walked her to the door, snow beginning to fall outside, soft and forgiving. She looked back once more at the twins, who signed a final message with sleepy hands and hopeful smiles. Gratitude filled her chest so fully it almost hurt. If this story has touched your heart, if you've ever felt unseen or misunderstood and still dared to hope, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who believes in quiet miracles, and subscribe for more stories that remind us what it means to be human. And before this story ends, leave a comment below telling us where hope found you when you least expected it. She stepped into the cold night carrying more warmth than she had arrived with, knowing that sometimes love doesn't arrive loudly or perfectly. Sometimes it comes through small hands, brave hearts, and a message signed in faith, reminding us that even in silence, we are never truly alone.